pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You did the same thing at school.
Yes, we did.
Yes, you gotta pay.
You all gonna sit down?
No.
We're the
I'm gonna
teachers.
read first.
Super big.
Therefore, as the elect of God, holy and beloved, put on tender mercies, kindness, humility, meekness, long-suffering, bearing with one another and forgiving one another. If anyone has a complaint against another, even as Christ forgave you, so you also must do. But above all these things, put on love, which is the bond of perfection. And let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to which you were also called in one body, and be thankful. Dear Lord, as we gather here tonight, let your presence be known. Let us all come to good understandings, and as elected officials, do the work in the interest of the village. We beg you for kindness and mercy and leadership among this group. In Jesus' name I ask, amen.
Amen. And before you sit, if we would just, for a minute, have it, but this is 9/11 today, it's been 22 years, just a moment of silence.
No.
Thank you. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you. Thank you.
Ready for your pictures.
Great.
Gonna be fun. Don't forget to smile, everybody.
That's all right, I'll sit down, whatever. All right, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. All right, first thing we're gonna do tonight, John Moffett is gonna come up. We have John, I'll let you explain.
We have a meat packing plant that's in Stanford, a slaughterhouse actually in Stanford, that would like to bring their waste here for treatment. Stanford wastewater plant's unable to manage it, so a little bit stronger in DOD for what that plant can manage. So we looked at all their numbers, and Phoebe, and the name of the company is Simcoe, I believe. Yeah, Simcoe. So we'll be bringing a maximum of 4,500 gallons a month. So it's pretty minuscule amount that they'll be bringing down to us. So we'll also bring is 3 loads a week, but right now you're looking at just 1 load a week. So other than that, that's about the size of it. We came up with a rate for them based on their loading and their volume. So put an agreement with the village to sign for them to proceed hauling it down there.
For 1 year, right?
For 1 year, yeah. What we're looking at, I have the sheets with me.
Yeah, I have it right here.
And they're gonna be.
We all got a copy. Yeah.
So they will be doing testing, chlorine they will be testing for every time they bring a load in. We told them just because of the cleaning products, but other than that, as of right now, the DOD loading is pretty minuscule for that amount of flow, so.
It'll bring a little bit extra money to help us with
Yeah.
some of the bills we have in the village.
So if you're inclined to sign and get it to Phoebe, we believe she's the one that's gonna be processing. And she was supposed to be here tonight to introduce herself. But she obviously hasn't been.
Maybe they get stuck, they come later, we'll introduce them. I think everybody's had a chance to look at it. I just need a motion to accept it.
Motion that we commit to. Second.
Yep. Got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Alright, so I'll let her know
Yeah,
that
let her know that it was approved.
that was approved. We'll send her, well, you're gonna sign it first and then we'll get a copy of it to her,
Yep.
so she can proceed. Okay. Thank you much.
All right, thank you, John.
Sorry to run out. Same down as well now.
Next thing is public input. If there's anyone that would like to have a few minutes to say.
Talk about the public and we're gonna do it all, or just gonna totally ignore it?
We're gonna do it, because there's,
Talk about the solar house?
well, we had said we were gonna have a public hearing, we were gonna do an adjustment on the pH for the wastewater treatment plant, but we found out there was no reason to do it, so there's no, we're not gonna have that public hearing on that, so. Now we'll go to the next thing, public input. If anyone would like a couple minutes to express your views or say something, please raise your hand, say your name and your address.
Mr. Framer. Colby Framer, 48 Union Street. I'm here to get approval for an Eagle Scout project that I have an idea of. It is a kiosk for the town pool, or the village pool. I built one into the ground to display the pool's hours and any other information for Austin Lincoln or the pool if it's having an event or something to be displayed out front. And I don't have any exact dimensions or anything yet, but I know it'll be into the ground with maybe a flower bed below it, and it'll be just a chalkboard with maybe a plexiglass window with a little roof on it.
How, you got any kind of dimensions, what you're talking about? I'm just curious about,
I don't have any exact, I have to talk to Brian Sprague.
to see what's the line, what you
Yeah,
can
to
fit up
get exact what he would
there.
want.
Okay, so Brian's aware of it too?
Yeah, he's aware of it.
And what you're aware of
Where
it?
are you thinking that's gonna go, Tim?
As soon as you walk into the first gate there on that back path, going off to the right there in the grass.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Instead of bringing.
yeah, instead of that little chalkboard that we had to bring out to write just the hours on, just to get something into the ground and a little more permanent.
I motion we approve the project.
Sounds good to me, I have a second.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, thank you, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, where's your little son?
I
It can't
know.
be him, right?
He's still needing me to come though.
You know, I remember the time you bring him with your hands and he's reaching up to grab your hand, now you gotta reach up and grab his. All right, thank you very much. Would anyone else like to say anything?
I think a representative from the company is here.
Yeah, Phoebe? Yeah, Phoebe's here.
Should I, this is my first time here, do I need to stand or anything formal?
Well, just introduce yourselves, everybody. We just approved everything.
Oh, you, really?
Yeah, well,
I'm 5 minutes
I was just
late.
leaving for a
I'm so
meeting and I
sorry.
just I
You know,
seen you
honestly,
pull
I
in,
just
so.
went to the town village by accident, so I just missed you. But in any case, I'm here just to say thank you so much to Mayor Snow and to the board for considering working with Brothers Halal Meatpacking in Stamford. Really means a lot to them. And just letting you know that from the point of view of agricultural development, their business is just so very important for the agricultural economy. Don't know if I mentioned my name, but Phoebe Schreiner, I'm the executive director with the Center for Agricultural Development and Entrepreneurship. We're based in Indiana, but we serve the farm and food business community of New York. So I'm here to kind of stand by our business partner.
yeah, we said, okay, we think it's a good idea. We're trying to be welcoming to everybody. Remember, I was the first one to say to them to get rid of, come down here and build the plant, but we'll take whatever we can get. So it's good to have a good relationship, and we approved it for a year. We'll see how it goes, and then we'll play it by ear after that.
Okay, very good. So we'll follow up.
Yeah, we'll sign the thing, and we'll get you a copy of it. So it's been
I'll give you a
approved.
copy to review it right now,
Oh,
Phoebe.
thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Just for a point of information, this is not the meat packing plant is going in the industrial.
Thank
No.
you very much.
Correct.
That's
This-
exactly
this-
what I'm doing.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I don't want the public to be
No.
confused. You're actually, you operate out of Stanford, and it's not a direct connection. You'll be delivering your waste down here by truck.
Right,
So
they're
it
taking the
is a
truck
bit
and delivering it. Because the standard, there's no connection to the wastewater treatment plant, so they're gonna get a truck and bring it down.
So it won't be a surprise.
Oh.
If it stinks really good, I can give you a specific route for the trucker to take.
All right, well,
Okay.
well, thank you. So then I'll
Flat Street,
say
is that what
goodbye.
you-
Yeah, yes,
And
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate all that you do here.
All right, next one will be abstracts. Everybody's had a chance. If there's no changes or anything, I need a motion.
I move that we approve the abstracts.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Bill Brown?
Oh, he's got the big binder.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the little sheet though.
The handout
The little sheet there.
One-pager, Cliff Notes version. A rare one-pager. Just a couple of quick updates. We've been talking about for the last couple months. I'm waiting for follow-up quotes for the lining of the section of water sewer main that we looked at with DPW. It'll be behind the Chinese restaurant. There's a leg that comes over and ties into Liberty Street, and then one section coming up from there, and then a couple of the manholes have water leaking in, so we're looking at those to do it. So be looking to do that for this fall. On the water side of things, we did have a meeting this past month with the awarded contractor, Rutledge Excavating. We'll be doing the water system upgrades. So talking about schedule there. This fall, they're gonna look to have the repairs done at the steel water tank, which is one of our 2 water tanks in service. So we'll work with DPW to get that drained so they can do their repairs and then get it back into service. And then next spring will be the bulk of the work, which will be repairs on the concrete water tank up there, and then replacement of the water main on Prospect, which is Route 10 from Delaware Street to the end of the system at Clear Road. So that'll be the next spring construction. The other water project we have in the works is the replacement of the Curry well. We have a contract in place with Cry Well Drilling. We put the test well in earlier this spring. And that was the basis to order parts and pieces to construct the finish well. We expect those to be in over the next couple of weeks, and right now we're tentatively looking at mid-October to drill the replacement Curry well, which will go kind of behind the existing one and then tie into the existing treatment plant. We did use that infrastructure that was in place, we put in 10 years ago.
Can they add like a giant weather-driven fountain to it? You know, so the water would recycle itself and it would be a giant attraction.
It will have a big vent on it that'll stick up out for the floodplain, so we'll there will probably be one or something.
I'm pushing for the fountain.
The fountain, okay. I'll get a quote for it.
Okay.
So I don't have nothing formal to ask for tonight, but a couple projects in the works, and we'll get the fountain on the docket.
Excellent.
Okay, thank you. Butch?
Everyone, good evening, report. Any peers, questions, concerns?
Nope.
Very good.
Got any idea when this is? I've seen more.
Yep, we're hoping to call them tomorrow, hopefully either later this week or definitely next week. They want me to come back, but each requires a lot of work, so, yeah. We're at that,
A lot of handwork.
kind of wrap that one up today a little bit, so.
When are we planning to start the paving on?
Either later this week or next week. That's the goal. I have to call them tomorrow.
One of the things people don't, or maybe not understand is we're at the mercy of when that equipment is available.
Correct. Yep, yeah, and I mean, we're a fairly small crew, so when you get a street that requires a lot of handwork, like East Street, it takes a while. And we've been working on it for almost 3 days now.
So we get the call and it's basically scramble to get it.
Yep.
So.
And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Shane?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Everybody get my report?
Yep.
Anybody have any questions?
Thank you.
We're below the turbidity, that's thank you for that.
Yes.
Some of the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It does happen.
for the whole thing.
I just had one request for S&H Mechanical to install new bulk storage chlorine tanks in the CPUG building at a cost of $19,250, and that is 100% DEP.
Yes.
100% motion approved.
Second?
100% second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Chief?
Don't hold back. We don't want the modified version of anything. Just give it all to us.
So we did 57 hours in traffic combined this year for fair. Most obviously was on Friday with the fair being the night before's rain that kind of washed out that overflow section. So we got them all in there by 7 o'clock, so it worked out pretty good. Made 11 missing arrests this past month. 14 of them. None of them had to do anything with the fair either, so that was kind of, everything went out just as it came in, so we had a good fair this year. Also, while we're on the subject of the fair, I know I've had some people come in and talk to me about different things that go on during the fair, and as far as like vehicles and traffic wise and stuff like that, as far as like golf carts and stuff. We tend to use a little bit more discretion during certain times of the year, fair being one of them. Halloween usually is another one, as long as the kids are getting around safely and stuff for Halloween and trick-or-treating with the lights and stuff like that. And try not to dampen anybody's spirit and stuff like that. But just to remind everybody that they are not operating on public highways or sidewalks, or they're not registrable with the DMV. I just wanted to make sure that was clear, and that we're just not like forming our own new laws that we can do whatever we want and go in places and shouldn't be going up and down sidewalks, doing buggying and stuff like that. Same thing with the bicycle, the sidewalk.
The electric bikes.
Right, the electric bikes on the sidewalks, and still get complaints about that. Not so much about the garden tractors buzzing around anymore. I haven't heard any of those lately, so. But, yeah, I just wanted to bring that point up, so.
No rolling bars through the streets.
No, nothing like that.
No alcohol bottles in the cars. It has to be hidden with Coca-Cola.
Well, we have so a couple years ago, I did have a DWI off from adult. So. But, yeah, that's what I got.
Just had a couple questions for you. Assist other agencies, says the Walton PD assisted other agencies 12 times. And I wondered, what's the other agency that's most often assisted, and how often is that within the village?
So usually very rarely is it inside the village. Usually when those assist other agencies, those are always another law enforcement agency outside the village. So if we get called for, like, to hold the scene of an accident, for example, somebody's got physical injuries or something, and the sheriff's deputy or the state trooper, whoever is the closest outside unit, usually will get called for stuff like that. So that's not like, it's different from an EMS call. When we go to EMS calls, those are listed separately.
I have a trick question for you.
Okay, that's good.
If there is an alleged undomiciled individual in the village who may or may not be
undomiciled,
a homeless woman,
okay,
that has no place to live,
Yep.
no place to be, she has a motor vehicle, and allegedly she drives from street to street throughout our village and parks in front of somebody's house and may or may not sleep in her car in front of that house during the night, and perhaps take a water bottle bath in the morning when the kids go into school.
So I think I know the individual you're talking about.
But there's really nothing we can do.
Well, I think if we wanted to, I think there's a camping ordinance, right? I think there's a.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so that's, but again, there's still, even though it's just a village ordinance, there's still a burden of proof that's been up there too, so.
Right, and
But,
that's the hard part.
and I believe, to my knowledge, that individual specifically, that one is inside and outside the village.
Right.
So you can outside the village,
Out on Route 10,
wherever.
up at Murphy
There would
Hill.
probably be a time limit too, right? If before you say camping, it would have to be like X amount of
Well,
hours, right?
If I would think, without looking
I
at
don't know,
the
I'm just
definition
asking.
and the ordinance, yeah, overnight sleeping, I think would probably, I don't know if that would, without looking at it, I would have to, kind of caught me off guard with that one.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I
But
didn't mean
would
to
have
surprise you.
Yeah,
It's
but
hypothetical.
Yeah, I would look to see what exactly that definition would stand on, and then, again, but from what my information is, and might be wrong, but she, or he moves around inside and outside the village to avoid things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Knowing what the law
And
is.
they've been offered assistance, and they refused assistance.
Oh, I personally
Yeah.
could vouch for that.
Yeah, no.
Because I have approached
Yes,
this hypothetical person.
as we have too. So, but again, if that person's not,
Not in their
Willing
right
to
mind
look
at
at
well,
all.
but if they're not 941 where they're,
Right.
you know, a threat to themselves or somebody else, then it makes it very difficult. And then even then, you know, you're talking.
Never
days.
exhibits a threat.
Right, right. So,
Hypothetically.
right.
Thank you.
Okay. You can stay, because we gotta go into executive session.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you. We'll make it clear. Okay, trustee reports. Let's try Steve, you got anything
I
tonight?
have nothing to report.
No
Someone
news
else
is-
already handled it.
No news is good news. And we'll go, Steve, do you have anything?
Okay, well, we have substituted our former police car, which is still available. Code enforcement is no longer driving around the now. I'd say the Butch is gonna get ready to dispose of it. So yeah, we're not using the sedan, it wasn't used for the police, it's being used by code enforcement.
Thank you so much for that news, because someone in the village was obsessed with the fact that they didn't.
I got a phone call about that today, I
The
took
code
care of
enforcement
it.
doesn't have plates in the car?
Oh, no, this
No,
was, the
unregistered,
vehicle was
Inspected,
uninspected.
unregistered, probably uninsured, and a hazard to riding around it.
Could you write a ticket for us, gentlemen? when you're
I'm
done?
sorry?
Can you write a summons to the old vehicle for no inspection?
I will do that.
Was it Josh that put in that complaint?
I don't
No.
know if it's actually.
No.
Usually, we do the vehicles like that, we do get them inspected.
Yes,
So it will have an inspection sticker on it.
yes.
Police vehicles are not, they do.
We inspect all our.
We inspect them. So
But
they are
they-
inspected.
but they just
do
don't have the
plates on
sticker.
them. They have a sticker on it.
Oh, yeah.
They have
Inspection
a current inspection sticker.
Yeah.
$21 a shot. We get them all done. We do have it done. And there is a sticker on it, regardless of what you've heard. Other than that, I don't have anything.
Oh, okay. Eric?
Yep. Well, the court has requested a JCAP grant to upgrade speakers in the PA system up to the amount of $10,000. And I'd like to make the motion that we authorize the mayor to sign a resolution supporting the application for this grant, which is non-matching. And that language would have to be, there's a copy that the judge would have to send the mayor to sign.
How much is this for?
$10,000. Up to.
To sign a non-matching grant, I would be happy to second that.
All in favor? Aye.
It's not really a non-match.
All the court, we don't have any real mention.
If they don't get the full amount, we have to, right?
Correct.
He applies for 10,000, if he doesn't get the full thing, they decide to give him 5,000, and he spends 7,000, 8,000.
We still have the prerogative to decline if
Yeah,
it's
it's
significant.
the extra amount, yes, yes,
And he did complain he has a problem with some of the lights up there, Butch.
okay.
You're aware of that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we've looked at it, looking at probably $1,500, $2,000 for repairs.
I've already spoke to him, emailed him back about that, saying that you looked at it and everything. Did you take care of that hole in the booking lot? Yeah. Okay. So, the bathhouse.
So that was seconded.
Yeah, we're all in favor, yeah, I think we all,
I think we did.
we did already.
Excellent. All right, next is zoning. Had a conversation with a constituent concerned with absentee landlords. And speaking with the code enforcer, we discussed that maybe there should be some sort of system to notify new property owners, property rental owners of our requirements. for example, needing a property manager, just so things are not a surprise for new property owners, and that we keep these properties well addressed within our code regulations. That's something to develop down the road. I just want to mention.
I think Josh already has a list of all the property debt managers and who are there.
He does, and I spoke to him today about this supplement.
Yeah.
Any of those that fell through the cracks.
Okay.
And that's it.
Yeah, I would think that if they aren't already, that we go through the planning board, needs to inform these people, if they plan on having rental property, that these are the requirements. That they maintain them and that be a property manager. I think it was a time limit, that they have to be here.
I'm not sure if there is any.
I believe in the code, it does, there's a time frame. Just a little time frame. So we have to-
Okay, well, they can address it in the pretty much.
So I can't open the house, I will refute on my own will, I have to check with the code enforcement.
That's correct. Other than single
Sorry.
family residence.
Okay, thank you. That is Eric?
That's all.
Thank you. Nate?
Last month, on the board's approval, I submitted a letter of intent for the Village of Walton to submit for the second year for the New York Forward Grant Program, which is a $2.5 to $4.5 million grant for downtown revitalization. We applied for it last year, we had a pretty decent application, and they liked our application, but they could only award 2 or 3 towns in the southern tier region with this grant each year. Last year was the first year, this year will be the second year. So they tell us, keep refining your application and we'll get to you one of these years.
Maybe we will.
Chances are they probably won't get to us this year. However, we've submitted our letter of intent to apply. The deadline to apply is at the end of this month, on September 29th, and I'm working with the Walton Chamber of Commerce to get our grant updated. And we went over a very nice new streetscape map that the Chamber of Commerce has gotten made. The mayor went over it with us a few weeks ago, and we're going to include that in our application, as well as a few other things. I'm hoping to get I'm making a motion for the board to approve us to apply for this grant at the end of the month. We're not applying for a specific amount of money. New York State will look at our grant proposal, and if they approve it, they'll tell us how much money they're going to give us. So it's not a specific amount of money, but Lord, if we got it, it'd be just a huge windfall. So I'm making a motion that we reapply this September and see if we can get it.
Second.
Excuse me, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you, folks. Moving on to the parks. Summer's winding down, and Austin Lincoln Park is switching gears toward fall activities. Please, a reminder to people to exercise extra caution and drive very slowly when in Austin Lincoln Park, especially in the fall. There will be a lot of people and kids in the park with football, field hockey, and soccer practices nearly every day, as well as games on the weekends. I mentioned last month, but it bears repeating, we are looking forward to enjoying the Friday night lights made possible by generous donations from the Delhi Telephone Company, NYSEG, and the Taggart family, who graciously donated the electrical work. We would again like to thank everyone who made summer a success at the park this year and the pool, and we look forward to another great season next year. Bring on fall. With the theater renovations are ongoing. The September Walton Theater Preservation Association meeting is later this week, so I will have more information on where everything is going in that regard in the next meeting. Yes, sir.
Are we going to send letters to the donors thanking them for the donation of giving us light in the pond?
That would be nice.
Yeah, should.
We can do that. I will get on that. Thank you. The Delaware River Stage Company will have their first informational meeting tomorrow at the theater at 7 p.m. to kick off this year's Christmas show. Very exciting. Anyone interested in performing should try to attend. We are looking forward to another great show. The Walton Theater is currently playing My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3 through September 20th. Don't miss out. This month's classic flicks will be Now Voyager from 1942, starring Bette Davis and Paul Henry. And that is on Thursday, September 21st at 7 p.m. The Manhattan Short Film Festival is returning to the Walton Theater again this year with 3 showings, 2 showings on Thursday, September 28th, one at 2 p.m. and another at 7 p.m., and another on Saturday, September 30th at 7 p.m. And if you've never seen this before, it's really worth checking out. Music on the Delaware is kicking off their 2023-24 season with a free coffee house concert at the Walton Theater upstairs in the Andrea Paternoster Room with Mosaic Winds, and which is entitled Bach to the Future. And it will be featuring Baroque, classical, modern, folk, and jazz music. The theater and parks are fired up for fall. Can't wait for fall sports, live music, and hoodie weather. Y'all can keep the pumpkin spice. I threw that in there. And also, the Buffalo Bills are playing the Jets tonight on Monday Football, so if executive session can not go all night, that'd be great.
Go Jets.
Go Bills. Thank you, sir.
Jets, Jets. I grew up with the
And
Jets.
ESPN is back on TV tonight.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you. All right, very few things I have. The one thing I was asked to read, this is regarding the dog park facility that we're looking to do over by Prospect. Dear sirs, we the below signed residents of Old Prospect Avenue strongly object to building a dog park in our residential neighborhood. The vacant lot, as described by Walton trustee Jameson, has been a neighborhood park in place for this neighborhood children to play for decades. Turning our green space into a chain link fence dog facility would certainly negatively impact our neighborhood and our property values. Having a townwide dog park 200 feet from a residence door cannot be considered a good idea. Please note there is little to no parking space available for this proposed park, and the access streets have poor or no sidewalk that residents often require to walk in the streets. Certainly there must be a space in the village where the dog park would not adversely impact the residential neighborhood and eliminate the only neighborhood recreational park available to our residents. It says sincerely residents of Prospect, and it is like 13 signatures. Just,
Can I address that, sir?
okay.
Due to the response from the residents in the neighborhood and the murkiness of who owns the property, we have scrapped the application. That's no longer in consideration. There's another spot we're looking at, and we'll talk about that in the future. But it's not near anybody's house.
Any discussion about that at all? No?
No, we never made a motion.
Yeah, okay. The other thing that I want to mention that I know I keep talking about this, I have for last year, but believe it or not, it is happening. Dunkin' Donuts has been once to the planning board and twice to our other board. They are moving forward. It's going to happen. Walton Alley, I talked to them yesterday. Tomorrow, they're coming in with the guy to do the final wiring. They had to wait for somebody from the bowling association to come down and take care of it. And the pizzeria there is waiting for the health department. You gotta wait like a month and a half sometimes to get them to come down.
There's a new health inspector.
Yeah,
And he's very overwhelmed.
yeah. Because he's been ready now for like a month and he's just waiting for them to come down, so.
He's been in Walton though.
Yeah, really? So maybe we'll get lucky.
There are only like 2 health inspectors for our entire region.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I have for now.
Oh, there's new businesses?
Huh?
There's new businesses in the village?
There is a CBD shop, but I don't have any idea whose it is or when it's open.
It's one, I heard that one of the Kugler girls opened it up.
Yep, that's what I heard too.
And then there's another one across the street, a shop.
There's
The real estate agent.
a real estate agent.
Yeah,
On the
Jim
corner.
Serio opened a new office where the plumber used to be.
Right.
And then who's next to them?
It's a beauty shop, but I don't know whether it's.
Yeah, someone saw
It's right there,
a picture of her on
Oh,
YouTube
on
of
YouTube,
Cleveland,
yeah,
and they
it's
thought
not-
it was a butcher.
I've gone
Okay.
there. I've gone there like a dozen times. But it's just
So,
it's closed. What is
Happy,
it?
happy, 3 new businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make like necklaces or.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least it's something.
They're very attractive when they sit out front. Maybe their products are just as good.
That's one way of putting it.
The Caldwell Bank.
It's a CBD shop. It is not a marijuana shop.
Right.
Oh, yeah, don't listen to rumors.
Yeah, don't.
If you want excitement, come to a village board meeting, we'll tell you.
It is not a marijuana shop.
We'll talk later about that. All right, I guess we already did 7, the JCP, the library signs on Walton. I'll read it. It says, hello.
Is it gonna be like the big H for hospital?
No,
No,
it looks like that.
library.
Oh, okay,
It's
nice.
very classic.
Yeah.
I don't know where he wants to put them. If you go to Masonville on 206, you'll see one there.
Which
If
we
you
have-
look,
No,
you'll
on
have to
Route
look to see
8.
it. It's really
It's
small.
on Route
We have
8,
stop
isn't
sign
it?
poles, extra
Excuse me?
ones.
It's down on Route 8, isn't it?
Yeah,
In
it's on the intersection
Masonville?
because their library is down by the fire station. That's correct.
Yes.
Let me finish,
Other
let
than
me
that,
read the
there's-
letter, please, first, before we go into discussion. It says, hello, we have toured around the region and are impressed by villages that have road signs indicating there is a library in town, something along the lines below. Who has jurisdiction and how do we go about requesting signs, maybe up to 4 at various entrances to the village? We believe this will add to the Walton Village experience, letting all who come know the library where it is. And they have a picture of it. So, okay, now we can say.
So if it's on the highway, they'll consult DOT.
Well, the DOT, well, I would think DOT is the first one we talked about.
Well,
I don't know.
We might be able to get Complete Streets to help us pay for that.
Besides, the other question was, he did want to know about how much it costs to put, probably has a better idea.
I'd have to look it up.
Don't you have a little catalog that has different signs in it?
We do.
They're not cheap.
No. Depending on the size you wanna go.
Yeah.
Is it complete streets?
They like to help with money for things like that.
That would be one way of going, then to get some help with that.
Well, the library's pretty generous too, so maybe they'll do it.
The email he asked about jurisdiction, right? That was one of the
Yeah.
clarifications he wanted to
Yeah.
know. So I guess where he plans to, or would want them.
It would have to be off to the side so it doesn't interfere with the DOT, with the plowing and everything like that. Just like where you see the Lions Club signs, and it's just maybe about, I think it's like 2 foot off the curb. We can put them over there.
Now, we did put them up at the police station, correct, Butch?
Yeah.
Just,
On
we
West
put
Street.
2 up, yeah. And it just directs them to where the police station is. The one in Masonville, it directs you to the library is what it does. It's not an entrance to the village. I don't know what Sydney's got, if they have anything. And the only thing we have is one problem. The problem with the library we have is, of course, it's a one-way street. So if you were to put one, the only place it would be right down here on the corner. And I don't know how much that would help them, or they just want an indication there's a library in there.
Yeah, that's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
They're just looking for something to say that we do have a library.
You can't enter the library from North Street.
That's correct. That's what I say, it's a one-way street. So the only place you put it is down here on the corner.
But he was talking about entrances to the village. where we
Entrance to
have-
the village,
Where we
yeah.
have like the church.
Like
So
the-
let people know that there's a library in the village.
Yeah,
So whoever our contact is with DOT, do the referral.
I'll ask him, you know, you can just complete streets, you can see if they'll do it.
Yeah, I'll check with them.
Okay, good.
How exciting, what else do you have?
Oh, you're more. Do you want to mention something about it?
I can. Actually, do you want to read it, or do you want me to read it and then go from there?
Well, it's a 2-page letter. Well, yeah,
I'll be happy to go over it if you like.
yeah,
Okay. Let me come up there.
yeah, come on up here. You're a big guy, you don't have to worry about his bike, you're a big guy, you can handle yourself.
I thought you were just spectating.
No, not today. I got a
You can
couple
see he works
copies.
outside. They all got a copy, everybody's got copies.
All right, brief overview. It's just it's a proposal to allow recreational vehicles to be used on the village streets. The reason behind it was to, like for golf carts, side by sides, other vehicles that are typically used during fair time and such. There's a couple occasions where they're used around the streets, stuff like that. Like for example, in the winter, snow plowing and stuff like that, people use them to do driveways and such. But I wanted to make it known to be allowed with the stipulation that they had to get them registered through the village with a sticker or some sort of device that would bring some income to the village too, to hopefully advocate, more police hiring or whatever the village deems that's necessary to wherever they want to allocate those resources towards. More or less, I think this is also build morale. I think it would also, I think it would bring the community together because you're no longer inside of a closed unit. You're out there, in your golf cart or whatever, going to dinner or whatnot. I also thought that this would be another way to lessen the impact on the environment because you're no longer getting in a gas vehicle and driving all over the place. I think I stipulated a lot of this stuff in my the proposal. So basically, I any questions I'd like to answer them. Maybe I could shed some light on it if we can push this forward. I understand there's legalities and there's legal ramifications, but what if you get this vehicle registered in the village? Like, say I come down to you guys and I say, give me a sticker for 2024 for my golf cart. You give me a sticker for that, and you also give me a sticker for my license. The sticker for the registration on the golf cart would be $100, whatever it is. I come back with a notarized paper saying that I hold the village harmless, and I will not sue you guys for anything that happens to me or my vehicle. And if I do any damage to the village property, it's on my own insurance and so forth. That's the only way I can see that would probably limit the legal responsibility of the village. Obviously, you get lawyers involved or whatnot as far as making sure that's good to go, but I mean, just from a contract perspective and every other access, that's pretty much what everybody else does,
Well, they do it in the villages in Florida. I mean, there's thousands of them.
Right. There's also villages here in New York State. South Courtright, I believe, just authorized it. They have a club that if you're part of the club, you can ride the four-wheelers and like that around. Tug Hill allows it. They have it up north, Old Forge. And I was thinking that this would be a great way to bring people in from downstate and any part of New York State, in fact, out of state. If you look at Hatfield and McCoy, the trails down there, those are dying villages. They were whole villages that just had no income. They made it legalized, and now they have Hampton Inns and Chick-fil-A's and stuff like that coming into these places. I'm not saying grow this place like a huge metropolis, but I'm saying that bring some more business in, bring new people in that want to buy properties,
Okay, we're gonna have some questions and see legally what we can do, please, and check all that kind of thing.
Okay, that sounds good.
Right.
Do you have any questions for me right now? I mean,
I did look to see, and the state is looking at a law which would cover these, and it's in committees as far as it's gotten.
right.
And there are a lot of reservations, and one of the problems we have, all the roads coming in here are state highways, and we can't permit you on a state highway.
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking for access, say like for Mead Street. Mead Street, you can gain access to Danny's, the library, I'm not gonna say the schools because we don't want to go in those areas, but I mean, you can go down Mead Street and cut all the way across the village. It does say in the law, the DMV law, I think that you can cross a state highway as long as you're going from point A to point B without meandering or like going over. So you could go from here to the other side of Delaware Street if you're making it a firm cross. Now, if you're talking about like traffic devices and stuff like that, and the DMV manual gives you hand signals. I mean, they wouldn't give you hand signals if you're not allowed to use them. I do understand that there's probably going to be some stipulations as far as when you'd want to use these. I probably would propose that they wouldn't be allowed in this village streets like after 8 o'clock at night for noise and nothing past 8 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning or something like that. I didn't mean to digress from the state highway point there, but I was just saying that we can narrow in and make this very possible, but also give very strict rules. At the same time, again, I think that this would be a great way to increase revenue for the village.
Well, if you want to hire one officer, you're gonna have to get a lot of ATVs.
Well, if you say that it's good to go through the village and the town, let's just say 3,000 people come in and pay $100 registration. That's $300,000. I mean, I've hired people, I own a company, I know it takes payroll, workman's comp, and liabilities. I mean, that right there would cover at least one officer.
It's something to look at.
All right, something we'll get in the state and check it. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time, appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right, the next thing, item 10. This is, says, hello, I left you a voicemail, but want to follow up with an email. We have lived on the house, in this house since 2017 and purchased it in 2021. There was multiple issues, with the biggest being that the street connects High Street to Park Street and it is not a one-way street. This is a dangerous spot. People drive quickly around the corner and oftentimes are driving on our land. Per old deeds, this road used to be part of our property. I respectfully request that this road be a one-way and whatever needs to happen for this petition to be made happen. Also, our neighbors will often throw garbage on our property and let their dogs poop in our yard. We want to put up a fence, but considering the traffic situations, are hesitant to do so and anticipating we would need village approval to do how close it is our property to what is now a two-way road. It is not a two-way road. Two cars cannot fit down this road. It needs to be changed to a one-way. I see you have a village meeting on September 11th. This is a place for such a petition to be made. Also concerns about the neighbors, including the garbage and unsupervised children. The children also heckle us. Those all things you cannot do anything about. I know that is their parents' responsibility and potentially a CPS issue. I am a professional, pay taxes. I am not happy with these three situations currently. The two apartment houses on High Street and Park Street are a problem in these issues that I am reporting. I respectfully request a response to my concern. If you are not the person that can address the issue, please direct this to the appropriate person. Sarah Bliss Hooper.
Okay, show me where we're talking about.
If you come up High Street and go up past the Veterans Place to the end, you make that little sharp left there, with that little space, with maybe two of these table
That's
lights.
part of High Street?
That's part of High Street.
Right
It's
next to
not-
the Vets Club, that skinny little street that
yeah,
cuts down.
That's not a separate street, that's part of High Street.
Next to the Vets Club or the
Past-
next?
past-
Just past it.
Okay, so it's the one after the Vets Club?
Yeah.
Very,
And if you come up Park, right after the Best Club, you make the sharp right, that's that little street right there.
Okay.
That's all part of High Street.
That used to be Stephen Pike's house on the corner?
yes.
Yeah.
I know exactly where it is.
I had Butch look into it. There's something that, if you have a continuous street, like High Street, you can't just partition it off and make a section of it
One way.
and the other part's two-way. That's part of DOT. So, I mean, that's one of the issues that we
You'd
can't.
be making Park Street one way the whole way.
Yeah, and if there's a problem with Park Street, which there are sometimes, coming up that hill, and if you can't go down High Street, people down there really got a problem. So,
The letter writer live in Plank's old house? Is that?
yeah.
Oh, because I noticed that property looked kind of beautiful and improved.
Yeah.
It does, it really does, it looks
Yeah.
nice. I could see why they wrote. Well, you better put boulders on your lawn,
Yeah.
you know.
Do we have
Yeah,
rules, as far as the putting up a fence, I mean, do we have rules as far as?
Well, you gotta be off, you gotta be off the.
Yeah, right of way with snow removal and all that, utility right of way, so when you put a fence there, the house is close enough, plowing snow up there, which is already a disaster, the fence would be down.
It would get hit.
Yeah, that's a good hit.
Call Butch Neal and get boulders for your lawn.
But do the setback requirements change if it's a one-way versus two-way?
I really don't know. I mean, I know we just have a set right of way on the shoulder of the road.
I've seen the plow go through. If we busted that guardrail, the plow could go straight across and knock it right over the cliff. You know, the snow could go down the embankment, nobody would get hurt.
The one we just replaced, you mean?
I give them a lot of credit.
Yeah.
they bought a house in the village, they're checking it out.
Well, they
But-
lived, no, they lived.
But they lived there before,
for
they
5
rented
years,
there 5 years before they bought it.
and then bought the house.
Well, but now it looks
And
like
now,
all
well,
fixed.
now they think, because they own it, they don't want that street there. But I mean, they put up with it for 5 years, and now they think it's fine.
Well, it's a street.
Yeah, we have guidelines we have to follow too, so, I mean, I put a call into DOT, but, you know, I'll look into it further, that's all I can do.
That's it.
We have to see how it will impact other things like the Better Club.
Yeah.
How traffic might.
Emergency services, yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it has to be
Maybe
free
it's a ladder
flow.
truck.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
No, it goes,
I mean, if it was gonna be one way anyway, it'd have to be one way going up the hill. That would make a circle. But even then, it's very premature.
Okay. Any
That's
problems,
true.
and you couldn't have the car coming through the other way, you have a major problem up there. I see where they're coming from, but I think it's gonna be a major problem. You did it. But I'll look into it. Yeah, well, thank you. If nothing else for this, we need to go into the executive session and talk about police personnel.
Make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Do you anticipate taking action?